Hello everyone, my name is Hell. I am a 19-year-old artist from Ireland, and yeah, this is my first ever speed paint. Woohoo! Look at me go! Yeah, so I hope to be posting speed paints every now and again. Might branch out, maybe not. We'll see. We'll see. I have no real plans, We'll see where it goes, Go with the flow. So today, if you probably know if you play Valorant who I'm drawing. If you don't, I'm drawing KAYO, not playing, Jesus. Yeah, so he is a robot from an alternate future who kills like radiants, which are like superhumans. Yeah. Valorant lore. Okay, for those who don't know, Valorant is an FPS game. It's free to play. Hashtag not sponsored. Yeah. The lore is wild. Yeah. So a bit about the speed paint. You might notice that I already had the line art done. The line art is just a tidy up version of the sketch. I find it's very hard to draw over my sketch. I'm never happy with it. So what I normally do is just duplicate the sketch and then just tidy it up. And the reason I duplicate it is so I have a backup plan if I'm not happy with how I'm tying it up. But yeah, that's how I do my line art. It was a very long process. A lot of going back and forward and stuff. And I keep jumping into the colouring when I shouldn't be while doing the line art, so I cut it all out. It would have made the video way longer than 20 minutes. So yeah. Once I have the line art done, as you can tell, I move on to my lovely flats. Most of these colours are picked off of the reference I have of KAYO. It's a reference sheet from, I found it on Google Images, dead honest, but it's from Riot Games themselves, so should be pretty accurate. Hopefully it's pretty accurate. It looks pretty accurate, I think. Yeah, so I'm going for a very flat style. I wouldn't call it comic book. It's not really comic book. Yeah. I don't think at the time I really thought about what sort of feel I was going for, but I ended up going for a very dramatic look, You're in the middle of a fight, you're in the middle of a battle, Obviously with his gun up, he is in the middle of a fight. He's not practicing firearm safety otherwise. Yeah. Yeah, you can see I'm a bit all over the place. Like, I haven't finished colouring that shoulder pad. And I'm hopping all over the place with the cell shading and deleting it. Yeah, I have a very chaotic drawing process. There's no, step 1, step 2, step 3. Sort of what's the easiest I can do? What is the most low effort thing I can do? Yeah, it's technically probably not the best, but it's art. There's no rules. There's no right or wrong. Yeah. So this black and white thing, basically what I did, it was create a new layer, and I set the filter to a color layer. That does not make sense. Basically it's a color layer, and you just cover it all in black, and I use that to check the contrast. I don't think I used it very effectively. I don't think the piece has a great use of contrast. Yeah, you have your brights and you have your darks, but I don't think I used it very well to bring the focus to the face. I tried, and you'll see later on I tried to make the face glow a bit. I don't think I nailed it well. It's probably something I could improve upon in the future. Yeah, and I'm trying to keep my colours all the same, and you'll see in the future I'll recolor the shoulder pad as well. I think colours are hard. Colors are very hard. And values. I know it's the foundations, but damn, the foundations are the hardest. Everything after that is just easy going, but sure, we'll get there eventually. So yeah, I normally like to use a very vivid color for the shading, and then I will use a multiply layer typically for the shading. Or there's a version called Darken. I don't know if it's available in other software, but in Krita it is. I'll use one of those. overall with the piece though, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm very proud of the pose. I think the anatomy's okay. It's not the best, but like, yeah, I'm pretty proud of it. It's a bit stiff. And the gun is at a weird angle. But you know, no piece is perfect. Even like fucking, sorry for my language, even like Da Vinci, you know, I say if you interviewed him, he'd be like, yeah, this bit isn't too hot, but you know. Or maybe not. Maybe they know they're the bee's knees. I really like using blue for shadows. I don't know why. Like, well, this is more of a purple. But you know those cooler colors? They make such nice shadows. I know you can use like browns, but they just don't hit the same. Maybe if I was painting skin, this situation might be better, but blue and purple shadows just, you know? So yeah, you can see here I'm using an airbrush to help soften out the shadows because, you know, in my opinion, life is that harsh. I could have probably used a blender to blend out the harsh lines. I think I do in some places, which might have been better, but you know, you live and learn. I'm doing the same sort of process with the highlights. And then I'll redo like the same thing, hop back to whatever I was doing and then go back to it. Yeah, it's not very intuitive. So here you might notice I added a blue layer over the piece. This was to make like, it was mainly for the browns, but to make the whole piece more like harmonic and unified. I think it made it too unified. Like it made everything just so middling, so nothing really stood out. But the intention was good. I think I could have maybe lowered the opacity a little bit more. So yeah, you can see I finally went back to changing that shoulder blade. It was a bit too warm for like the rest of the piece. You might notice I'm still avoiding those hands. I hate hands so much, Jesus. I think one thing that may have helped the piece was if I blurred out the gun in the background and also the arm. You know, it would have made more focus on the face because it was blurred out. But you know, Once again, you live and learn. Yeah, you can see I finally have mustered up the courage to start on the hands and the gun. It's sort of, I don't know, I think it's intimidating doing the hands. Because, like, yeah, no one will really look there. No one cares that much about the hands, but, like, at the back of your mind, you know they're not, like, perfect. And even perspective on hands, like, you're trying to make sure that it looks like there's all the fingers there. But also at the same time, you don't want to make it look unnatural. It's a very tough thing. Those who can actually draw hands are bloody gods. Bloody gods. I guess I didn't muster up the courage in the end. I abandoned it after shading it. We do get there eventually. It was painful. And you'll actually see, like, how I do my line art. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is not every part of KAYO or the character is, like, metal. Like, the neck is more, like, rubbery from what I can tell in the game and the fan art and stuff. You know, fan art, almost canon source. But yeah, it's more like rubber. So I was trying to, like, find a way of, like, making a soft light on that. So I just end up doing, like, another airbrush blend thing. And here I'm adding the highlights to the metal because, you know, metal is very shiny and very reflective. So yeah, I think it helped distinguish the texture of the items more because my style of drawing here is very flat. There's not much texture, which is something I would like to improve upon. Like, I don't know, there's nothing wrong with this sort of style. It's just I find when I'm finished, I feel like I need to do more. It never looks finished, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know what else to do. Well, like, I don't know. That's just the thing. I feel like this current style of mine is very unfinished and flat. I would like to go for a more painterly style in the future. Like, nearly not Romanesque. You know those ones are a bit, like, abstract, but they're very traditional. I'd like to go something like that. I can't think of any on top of my head. I still also really like the graphic design, like Plague Pop on Instagram. I don't know what I want, really. I'm very indecisive. I'm like, do I really want a punchy graphic style? Or do I want a nice soft painterly style like Amui Arts? Oh my god, they are amazing. I love Amui. Check them out. They're also on Instagram. I'll put their handle up on the screen. Honestly, them and Play Pop are both lovely. Very different, but both lovely. I love the use of colours. Maybe I should just paint colours. That's what I'm really attracted to. I'm like a moth. I'm just like, ooh, bright colours. Yeah, and you can see here, I'm changing the back. I just felt like that yellow. It was a bit dirty. It wasn't a nice yellow, you know. What I was trying to go for was, like, complementary, you know, like yellow and purple. It didn't really work out, so I decided to just stick with all the purple. Because the pink is so different, it still sort of worked out in being, like, contrasting. Although I don't think the contrast really worked because the blue on the body, I think it's just so overwhelming and so big comparison to the pink. I guess the only thing that I was working for is that it's close to red, and red's a very noticeable colour. So yeah, I hope that worked with it. As you can see here, I am currently working on the hand. Finally. You can see how I tidied up the sketch. It's not my best work. It's not the best part of this thing. But you know, it does the job. And that's the main thing. It does the job. Hopefully no one looks at it too much outside of the Speedpaint. Please do not look at the hands. Thank God there was only one. That made my life a hell of a lot easier. I decided once I had the sketch done, or the line art done, I would go and fix up the shading now that's like more refined and get a more accurate like sort of shading done. The gun I found hard because I was like, I couldn't visualize how the light would hit it, so I sort of ended up like sort of BSing it, but you know, it wasn't too bad. Oh, here's me being indecisive again and avoiding the hard parts of the painting by redoing something else I've done. Yeah, I want to add like more contrast to bring like focus to the bright parts of the piece, aka the head. So I made like a darker purple background. And here's the final piece. You can check out on my Instagram. And yeah, thank you for watching my first ever speed paint.